So now we are here with Rebecca Fink from Sisko, and we thought, okay, we must ask her a few questions also because this STGCC 2018 has been crazy. So, Rebecca, tell us more about yourself and what inspires you to do what you do.
Well, geez, that's a tough question to start off with. I guess I started collecting Bowens more than 10 years ago, and I guess I just totally fell in love with statues. But back then I wasn't really on the forums or on Facebook or anything, and I really got passionate about collecting when I started getting involved with the community and, you know, sharing the excitement of a new piece and you know, unboxing and all that kind of stuff with other people. I just find that's the really amazing thing about the statue community, and I just found it really supportive, and that just made me love collecting even more. And then watching other people do statue reviews and videos just made me think, man, I should get involved with that too. And I think seeing the Rad Titan videos, they were just really raw. They were just, you know, having fun.
That's true.
And,
that's very true.
Yeah, and you know, just chatting about the piece and just saying what they liked and what they didn't. And exactly, you know, it wasn't like fancy editing because I'm not good with that kind of thing at all. So I just saw that and I thought, yeah, I should do that too. And I'm really glad that I did because I've met so many amazing people and I get to talk to other collectors all the time. You know, we ask each other questions and all that kind of stuff, and I think that's what it's all about.
Super. Okay, how has the past year been for you with respect to conventions and reviews? You want to take conventions first?
Yeah, sure. I think I'm most passionate more than anything about convention coverage. And you see that many new pieces. Okay, so I think I'm most passionate about filming conventions because when you walk into a convention and you see the huge display like they have here, just so many pieces you've never seen before. It really is that excitement. It's like, you know, a kid in a candy shop.
You become a kid again.
Yeah, absolutely. It's absolutely that feeling of becoming a kid again. And that's what I love to share with the people at home, because if I'm lucky enough to be here, to see all these pieces, I want to share that with you guys that can't be there. And lots of people do the same for me when I can't be at a convention like all the way at the US. It's like the other side of the world, you know. So it's so hard to get over there, and people do their videos and then I feel like I'm there. So I really think it's just so much fun to do conventions, and I get to meet other collectors, other reviewers.
Yeah.
You know, we're all making videos and sharing with each other. It's the best, man. In terms of reviews and unboxings and stuff, again, it's like you got a new piece and you want to share it with everyone. So you get to do that, and I definitely want to try and do more reviews. I haven't been doing that many this year particularly, mostly because I don't really have, I'm starting to feel like I need a proper space to do it. With a backdrop and, you know, somewhere quiet, because at the moment I just kind of do it in my living room and my dogs will be running around. People will be coming and going. I got to stop the review all the time. I'm like, oh my God, someone will turn the TV on. I'm like, no, what are you doing? So, yeah, so I think I'm going to get a nice little quiet corner and then I'll probably do some more reviews.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to mention one company at a time. And can you tell me what the standout piece for you has been coming from that company?
Sure.
So starting with XM Studios.
Do you mean here at the convention?
Here at this convention, yeah.
For me, I'm an Alien Predator collector,
Whoa.
so the Alien has just completely blown me away. The concept of, you know, it's like the hive, the aliens crawling on top of each other, you know, trying to get out, and I just love it from top to bottom. There's so much detail in the paint job as well, and of course pictures and videos can only do so much.
That's true.
Seeing it in person, yeah, it's just something else. And the amount of detail, Naren is a master. The amount of detail he's put into that sculpt, he's obviously put his heart and soul into it. And yeah, I just absolutely love it. And having the little Jonesy around the bag, that's awesome, man. That's a little, like, you know, extra nod for the collectors and the Aliens fans. So I think that's great.
Super. HMO.
I mean, they've got some new stuff there this year, but I think that Morrigan they did, just wow. Not only was that prototype like flawless, you could not imagine a better one, but their production pieces, they've actually hit the prototype. I could almost, because I saw the prototype last year,
okay.
You can almost not tell the difference, honestly. Just, they got the acrylic eyes, you know, the little bats and everything. It just retained all the detail. The skin tone is beautiful. It's just outstanding work.
Yeah, and the kind of quality checks they do, it's like crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Legendary Beast Studio.
I have actually spent so much time at the XM booth and the HMO booth. I have not even walked around properly. So I haven't even looked at what they have here.
So even Royal Selangor, I guess.
Oh, sorry, Legendary Beast.
No, I'm sure. Did you go to the Royal Selangor anyway?
Oh yeah,
That would have been harder,
no,
right?
I was thinking of the other one. Yeah, Legendary Beast.
Legendary Beast. Yeah.
Right. So the Juggernaut, definitely.
Okay. What did you think about it?
I think what their concept of doing a smaller scale, but having that diorama style base, I think it's extremely impressive because it's almost as big as like a quarter scale piece, but tons and tons of detail. You've got him smashing through the wall.
So
You've got
dynamic.
the sign of the Xavier, school. And it's just a beautiful paint job and everything. And I love dioramas. So, I think it's an outstanding piece.
Super. Royal Selangor, you didn't get time to go to, right? You said?
Yeah, no, I haven't been anywhere else.
That's fine, yeah. What are your thoughts on the DC16 line by XM?
I actually love the DC16 line. I think they've managed to really capture the essence of what they do in 1/4 and just scaled that down to 1/6. So you've got amazing detail, you've got the elaborate bases, you've got the quality. You can really see, that XM quality just in a smaller package. And I think these days, space and stuff, being able to have that kind of quality in a small package, less shipping costs, easier to display. I think it's a fantastic line. I'm really glad they're going with the 1/6.
Super. What did you think of the Red Hulk by XM?
That's possibly my second favorite piece here, actually. I honestly, for me, I think it's a masterpiece. I'm a big Hulk fan, but I've never been that into Red Hulk. It's always Green Hulk for me. But the second I saw that, I fell in love. Just the way he sculpted the physique is something I've never seen before. So obviously Alex and George from Rad Titan, they have lots of his pieces. They really appreciate his work. They share it. But this is one of those things. I've seen the videos. I've seen the pictures. It's not the same as seeing it in person. What he does feels so visceral and raw. The way that he sculpts with the textures and the muscles and the detail and all the veins and everything. Seeing it in person, I'm blown away. I think he's incredibly talented, and I think it's an awesome piece.
It's completely hand sculpted, traditional style.
Top to bottom, and that's the problem. It ended up being too big, and what can you do? It's hand sculpted. He's going to redo the whole entire thing.
It's so terrible about that.
Yeah, I feel bad for him, but I think he did what an amazing job.
Okay, a major part of the collector community is just coming to know of XM and HMO now, and probably they don't trust them yet. What do you think? Where do you think these Asian companies stand in terms of the quality levels and the standards when you compare to the other international brands?
Sure. I guess a lot of people, overseas in like the States and in Europe might have never even seen an XM piece or an HMO piece because they aren't as available. So definitely I would say I think their quality is up there as some of the best in the world. They really put as much effort as possible into the production quality and also that unboxing experience. So when you get an XM piece for the first time and you see the box and just the thought that they've put into it and the way that it's designed and everything to keep it safe, until it gets into your hands, because that can really spoil an unboxing.
Exactly.
If there's breaks, if there's flaws and all that kind of stuff, and I think they really know that, and so they go that extra mile to really make sure that, you know, as often as possible you have that flawless unboxing experience, and I always really appreciate that.
And even the assembling part isn't confusing. It's so spot
they give the assembly instructions and the pictures and stuff, and I'm terrible with, you know, if there's a lot of swap outs, I get so confused. So I really appreciate that.
If you had to pick one showstopper at STGCC 2018, which one would it be?
A showstopper? I probably have to say, I mean, it stopped me in my tracks. It really did. My jaw was on the floor.
That's the alien, right?
Yeah, the alien. But I think there's a lot of pieces this year that really made me stop and have a long look. I think the Shogun on horse, I think that's one that's not going to photograph well, because the colors are very subtle and your eyes can just, you know, see so much more depth and so much more color than any camera. And so, you know, I've tried to do as much footage as I can at different angles and things, but that's one that you just have to see in person. I think the amount of detail on it is just incredible, and they had the sort of more Shogun head on yesterday with the spear, and today it's the, you know, open-faced mask and the crossbow, and it completely changed the piece. It looks so different. I walked past again and I was like, whoa. So yeah, I think that's another one that's really impressed me. And the Red Hulk, obviously. Oh, and the Finch Batman Dio.
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh, that diorama. Guys, that is something special, let me tell you. Obviously you can't get a sense of the scale in person, but even though it's 6 scale, it is big, because people are already talking about the price, but it is basically like 12 1/6 scale pieces in one piece. So if you broke that down, you know, you divided the price by like 12, trust me, you're getting a bargain. I think it's incredibly impressive.
Yeah. Okay. What factors do you think these collectible companies need to start considering to keep the collectors happier?
Sure. I think something that is talked about every single day. I don't think there's a single day on Facebook that's not talked about is price.
Yes.
But there's only so much they can do, because you know, to lower prices, you can do things like lower quality or skimp out on the box quality and all that kind of stuff. And so, but you start doing that, collectors will be happy with the price, but they'll be less happy with the product. And it's all about that happy medium. I do think the direction that XM started to go to, where they're doing smaller bases on some of their pieces, you know, still interesting bases, not plain bases, still trying to tell a story, but trying to tell that story smaller, you know? And so that not only means the piece isn't as big and therefore doesn't cost as much, but it also means it's less to ship it out to you. So it's kind of that double saving. I think that was really smart, forward thinking. I think going 1/6 is a really clever step, because the 1/6 market has been sort of in a lull the last couple of years. But there's a lot of 1/6 collectors. There's people that want 1/6 scale because it's cheaper, you know, the shipping is less and all that kind of stuff. So I think space for sure. So for people who want bigger, they still do things that are bigger, and for people who want something smaller, they've got the 1/6 scale. So I think that's great. But I think the price problem is something that is always there. But I think when you get a collectible and you open it and it's everything you thought it would be, then the price in your mind kind of disappears. If it was worth what you paid, then you don't mind as much, you know. So I don't know. I think that's something difficult, but doing small things to help collectors out.
Even considering those things.
Yes, even thinking about those things. I think that's something that collectors would really appreciate.
Yeah, super. So as seasoned reviewer, and you've gone to so many conventions now, what do you think the future of the collectibles industry looks like?
It's funny you call me a seasoned reviewer, because it feels like I just started yesterday. I feel so green. I always feel like I don't know what I'm doing. And there's Alex from Rad Titan, and he's running around like a machine. He doesn't stop, you know what I mean? He's got everything all sorted, he's got a plan in his head, and I'm just like, oh, what was I filming again? Did I film this piece already? I can't even remember. Anyway, I digress, I'm sorry. So the question was, what do I think the future
of the collectible industry is like?
Look, that's a tough question because just even a few years ago, when I started getting more serious about collecting, there weren't as many companies, there weren't as many pieces coming out, there weren't as many customs, you know, all of a sudden customs have become really big. So there's more of us collectors in that time, but it seems just recently like the amount of product coming out is even more than, has grown more than the amount of collectors. So that's going to be really interesting. Like, is collecting then become even more popular because Marvel movies and DC movies are more in the mainstream and that kind of thing? Or is it going to get to that point where there's too many companies and they can't sell enough product, you know, and some of them won't survive? Is it going to be like that? You know, I don't know. I hope not, because I love the competition. I think that each company has their own style, every one of them. They've got a different style and a different approach to things, and I think that's great because it gives us choice. You know, I think competition is always a great thing. So I think, again, coming back to price, I think that's going to be something really interesting for the industry, because the cost of making statues has increased so much in the last couple of years. Are collectors going to be able to keep up with these price increases, and for how long? So it might end up being that we've seen, you know, companies go from 6 scale to quarter scale to third scale now, and half scale even, and things are so expensive, we're running out of space. Are we going to start seeing the opposite, where companies go from making third scales to making quarter scales to making more 6 scales, or even 7th, or even, you know, 1/10? You know, Iron Studios do their 1/10 line, and it's extremely popular. They're cheap, and you can have, you know, a collection in a small space. So I think that's definitely possible. But yeah, the future is going to be really interesting.
Okay. So thank you so much for your time, and it's been really insightful. Thanks a lot.
It's my absolute pleasure. Thank you, everyone, for watching reviews, not just mine, but everyone, and interacting with us and the community. I think the statue community is one of the best places to be.
And for those of you who don't know about It's Sisko,
you can check me out on YouTube. It's IT_S Sisko, SISKO.
Yeah, super. Thank you so much.
Cheers, guys.